Well, welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn, and my very special guest today, Sydney Charles Mullins OBE. Sydney, when did you lose the Sydney?
Well, my dad's name was Sydney also, so evidently they decided to use my middle name. So I've never used Sydney all my life, right? Yeah, and I think it was all, confusion with calling the dad and mum coming along or something like that. But I prefer Charlie anyhow. I think I'm more of a Charlie than a Sydney.
It could have been a Sid. Call Sid. It would have been good. I always enjoy. We spoke last time about the sale of Pimlico Plumbers, and you said you regretted it. Why did you regret it?
Well, I think that why do I regret it? Allegedly it's not the company it was, and we had a brilliant business, absolutely brilliant, and we had many people working for us years, and their children work for us and their grandchildren. Same with mine, and when you get rid of that, it's sort of you think to yourself, should have I, shouldn't have I? Again, I have to say the money was obviously handy, and I've helped my family, and I've helped various other charities with it. But also, I realised now that if I'd have kept it, it'd have been worth miles more. You know what I mean? We sold it 3 years ago. Um, but moving on from there, my family and myself have started a new company in the UK in London area called WeFix London, and we launched that on October the 1st, just a few days ago. We had a 3 year clause not to be able to trade, and we've complied with that. I'm not actually on the payroll, so again, I'm not prepared to, be involved with Labour government, but obviously the company will comply with all the UK tax laws. But I don't need to be on the payroll. My input is my knowledge and expertise over the 41 years. But bearing in mind my son that's working there and grandson, they've all worked for me for years and other family members, so they're pretty knowledgeable. And we've got off to a very good start, actually, a very good start. Just to say something, we had customers calling us up and saying, "Thank God you're back," and I think that's quite a statement. No, it's true, and I think that's quite a statement to say.
Oh no,
Um,
absolutely. Well, you said, and it's not just the customers calling you, but also a lot of your staff have also contacted you as well, haven't they?
Well, ex staff that used to work, yeah, quite a lot of them have been in touch with us, and I mean, we're not poaching people from the company. We're not, doing anything incorrect. If anybody wants to join the company and they worked for me before, then if they stack up to our standards, then we give them a job. But our standards have changed a lot from previously, and I think in the past we may have just made up a lot of staff with numbers because of the demand for work. Now we've made a decision that we're going to be only employing the best office staff and tradesmen, and offer a real top quality service. So it's going to be a different level to the previous company. And again, we're not looking to mess them up or anything. Good luck to them. But we'll just go about our own business in our own way, and undoubtedly it will work because people will always pay for quality.
Yeah. And as you say, you were very different when you started with Pimlico Plumbers. There were two things you did. You smartened up the plumbers and also and get that quality of service. And also you bought a lot of number plates. Tell us
That's
about those
right.
number plates.
We had all these plumbing related number plates, bulk, loo, gas, boiler, drains, sinks, pipes, leak, everything. We had about 180 or 160 odd number plates, plumbing related. And I think we had about 270 vans on the road. We're doing the same thing now, bought a load of WeFix ones, and we fix this and fix that. So we're going to do the same thing. I think it's a great marketing tool. And again, allegedly, the other company are not keen on the number plates, but that's their choice. I mean, I'll buy them all off them if they want to sell them. I
Uh,
mean,
there's been different reports as to how much they're worth from like 1.5 million or whatever, your previous number plates. How much were they worth?
how much was my lot worth?
Oh, yeah, the old number plates you bought, the drain one and the bog one, and
Yeah, well over £1 million. Um, the first number plate I bought was drain, and I think I paid £6,000 for it in an auction, and I was having sleepless nights. And I turned down 100 grand for that like years ago, and I wish I had it today. They're a great investment. A lot of we was doing a lot of charity things, spot the number plate. Children was collecting them, and even customers asking, can I have a shower come round? I've had bog one. I've had all these things, and yeah, so it's a great thing, and it's a great marketing tool. Our vans on the previous company was the most recognisable van trade vehicle on the road. The new vans, WeFix, will be the most recognisable trade vehicle in London. No two ways about that. I've got the same marketing manager who was with me for about 30 odd years before. And we've upped our game a lot. Our uniform with now is different level, our van is a different level, the call centre's a different level, the staff are a different level. It's actually, we're only going to employ the best that meet our standards. We're not just going to make the numbers up now. I think demand of work, we got a bit carried away, and a lot of people that maybe we employed then, I certainly wouldn't employ them now. Things have moved on a lot. And a customer, they want more for their money today. They want quality.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Now, you've been a big advocate, we spoke about this beforehand, for apprenticeships. So what changes would you like to see in the education system to better support vocational careers?
Yeah, well, very straightforward. We need to have a government-funded apprenticeship scheme. When somebody leaves school, university, got a job, or they go into a government-funded apprenticeship scheme. And with the government paying for the apprentice, then the employee would pay the same amount of money, so that we increase the wages for apprentices to make it worthwhile for them, and start training up people. I mean, there's a massive shortage of skilled labourers. And we need to be pushing that more from school level. I mean, we can easily tackle it. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, when Cameron was in, I was working with him and Osborne, and we started getting a bit of a scheme going. We didn't have a government funded, but I think it would have led to that. But honestly, we're making big mistake not training up youngsters. And yourself, a lot of them that get in trouble, the first thing they say is, I've got nothing to do, I haven't got a job. Why are we not getting behind that and making it happen? I mean, it's not a difficult one to make happen. It really ain't. But again, I have to say it. I just don't feel Labour are business minded at all. But I think that the Conservatives would have eventually got round to encouraging more people, more youngsters into the workplace.
Yeah, and you're a glowing example of the if Bill hadn't taken you on, as you said, you would have found a different role model, wouldn't you? Maybe taking you down a bad path.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, again, a little bit of direction, I think, for a youngster is all you need. And even wrong road and right road. Wrong road leads to this. Right road, there's a pot of gold at the end of it, and it's not easy to get, but it's a better road than where you may end up there. And it's just a little bit of direction that people are needed. But most important thing is to get people into the workplace. That's the start of getting anywhere. I'm not trying to tell you anything you don't know, but as soon as you give a youngster a job, they just become part of society. They realise then they can make something of themselves. They realise that they value themselves more, and they've got something to get up for. And it wouldn't be difficult. It wouldn't be difficult to do. I honestly, I know I could do it. Put it like that. I know I could do it. All they've got to do, the government, is pay for the apprentices and pay them more money and encourage them into the workplace. I mean, there's lots of youngsters, Andrew, as you know, they're begging to go to work, absolutely begging. Not all of them are, work shy. A lot of them are just begging to go there, and they're just not happening for them, and it's so wrong. It's so wrong.
No, you make some very good points. Now, you've also been very vocal about other political issues as well, including Brexit and workers' rights. But how do you see the current political climate in the UK, and what do you think needs to be changed?
Well, certainly encouraging youngsters into work, and the employment rights need to change. They're just ruining businesses. And who's going to expand? Who's going to open up a business when you got the employee wants to work from home, starts telling you what hours he wants to do, start telling you that he can be more flexible. I mean, you try and be flexible in the workplace, but you cannot have the employee telling the employer what to do. And when that happens, it's not going to work. I mean, and all this working from home nonsense. Maybe it's better for 10% of people, but there's no way in a million years that lots of these people that are working for home are more productive. They all say they are, but what are they going to say? They're not going to say I'm not. It's just not right. And I actually believe the working from home is now causing all the mental health problems that a lot of youngsters are playing instead of playing the bad back card, they play the bad brain card now. And I'm not suggesting all of them don't have an issue, but if the ones that generally don't have an issue went to work, then there'd be more help for the ones that generally have got mental health issues and have got disabilities. But they're just ruining it for everybody. And it's just, we become work shy. I mean, and again, I'm not knocking all the youngsters because so many of them are great workers. It's just, the government are just allowing things to happen.
And there are certain professions. I mean, plumbing is obviously one of them. You couldn't work from home, but there may be an advantage. But you're right. People need people, and being around people is actually good for you.
We've been talking about it for a few years now, and I think even today there's stories in the paper about the civil servants are gonna strike if they have to go into the office for 2 days a week. Well, and the unions are backing them. And the people who carried out the survey are civil servants, and they're obviously agreeing with it. 50%, actually, make this right. We now employ 34% more civil servants than what we did in 2016. Now, if we got rid of 50% tomorrow, nothing will change as far as the workload because, I'm just going to be frank, most of them don't do nothing anyhow. Right. And they're going to do a lot less at home. I would get rid of 50% of them tomorrow, and I would pay the ones that want to come into the workplace, and I would pay them more. But according to the people who've done the survey, they can all work better from home. Load of nonsense. You try and get onto, certain departments and, whether it be passport, whether it be tax places or wherever it be, and you just can't get through to anybody. It's just not working. But you've got these busybodies, pests, saying that they can all be more productive working from home. Absolutely nonsense. It's not a fair system. I'm not saying people that have to work from home shouldn't, but majority of people need to go back in the workplace. I'll tell you what's going to happen, Andrew, and I bet I'm not wrong. They've got 16 government buildings, I believe, in London. They will take one lot out of one building, put them into this building because they're not coming into work, and then that building they will convert into accommodation for the illegals. That's what's going to happen. And is that right? Of course it's not right. And I actually think Starmer is planning this now. That's what's going to happen. They will be selling off government buildings and letting people live in them that are not even contributing. You've got to get people back into the office, but people disagree with me, and they're entitled to do that. That's their opinion. But what they need to remember, I've run a successful business for 41 years, start with nothing, and where it ended up. So and I know that the best place to be is in the workplace. You're going to get mental health problems at home. You're going to have boredom problems. You're not sort of mixing with people. You know how it works. I mean, I feel embarrassed saying it because, everybody knows that not everybody knows. The only people that want to work from home are the people that are allowed to work from home and they tell you they're more productive. It's an unfair system and it will ruin the economy.
Yeah, it's interesting. And as I say, it does depend. People, the other argument, it saves the commute and so on and so forth. It depends on the job and depends on the individual as well. But you mentioned about you've led a company. It's a multi-million-pound company which you sold. You're leading a new one. Well, how would you describe your leadership style? I mean, and how do you balance between being a sort of hands-on, if you like, because you started in the profession yourself, as well as empowering your team to lead? How do you make that balance? What sort of leadership style do you have?
Look, I mean, people tell me that, I'm can be difficult, and people say that, I'm very blunt and to the point, and call it rude, call it what you want. But, you need to be making sure that, who's ever working with you is drinking from the same teapot as you. And if you can't get on with them, or they're wanting too much money, or they're too many demands, then simply go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. I mean, I've employed people, same people. Some people 40 years have been with me, and plumbers have been with us for years. I've had one tribunal case against me about whether he was self-employed or whether he was a worker. Unfortunately, the judge listened to incorrect information and he said he's a worker. But again, they was just fooled. I have to be honest. It didn't cost us anything, but we took it all the way to the Supreme Court because, if people are just abusing the system and see it a way of getting money, then I'm going to fight that all day long. So look, put it like this: the people that work for me made lots of money and had a good life out of it, and the people that we got rid of are moaning their heads off.
Yeah. So with success comes scrutiny. You talked about some of the reaction from that sort of side. How do you handle criticism, especially in the media? And what advice would you give to other business leaders on managing public perception?
Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult one. I mean, it is a difficult one, I have to be honest. I mean, they get very personal and obviously they've lost the argument then anyhow. Most of the time they're arguing with you, not about what you're saying, but look what you look like, look what you said, look what you've done, look this, they come away from what we're really talking about. And, I think unfortunately you have to put up with it. You can't even, reply to it. Couple of times I think I've been banned on Twitter just for telling these people to, like what they're saying is incorrect or other little bits and pieces. Yeah, it's not an easy one, but if that's comes with being successful, then I'll be that successful all day long because, look, Michael Caine said he's been rich and he's been poor and he knows which one he prefers. And, we know money's not everything, but, it helps a lot of people. What comes around goes around. So, criticism, look, unfortunately, we're a nation that criticise people, but I would say 90% of people that I deal with and know me, they're okay with it, but you get 10% of pests that, cannot stand the fact that you've been successful. Yeah. And they're normally called jealous haters.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you know.
You make such a good point on that, and I think that's right. People do need to have a thick skin. I think even those who are phenomenally wealthy, it's you need basically to realize, if you prick me, do I not bleed? If you tickle me, do I not laugh? We've all got foibles, we've all got sensitivities. The other thing we have to do though is try to get the work and life balance right. How do you do that?
Look, I mean, I think they make too much of the work and life balance. I mean, I was always taught that it was respectful to work and you have to work to live. I mean, all of a sudden this work-life balance. I'm not disagreeing that, if you work from home and you only work 6 hours a day and all this nonsense, then of course you've got a better work-life balance. But have you necessarily got, the things that you want out of life, whether it be holidays, cars, looking after your children, buying a home? I just feel we're making too much of the work-life balance. I'll be honest with you. Years ago, people would just go to work and it was respectful to go to work. Now it seems as if, if you do more than 6 hours or 8 hours a day, people are attacking you. I mean, I have to be honest again, you got all this nonsense that people say you can do 5 days work in 4 days. Load of rubbish. Load of rubbish. I mean, if you're doing 5 days work in 4 days, it means you wasn't given 5 days work in the first place. They talk about the distractions at work. There's distractions at home. But if a plumber, like, if he put a boiler in and it's 5 days work, he done it in 4, I'd be worried about the safety aspect of it. I mean, who are they trying to kid? And when they're going to get down to 4 day week, then it'll be a 3 day week, and we all know what's happening. I mean, you've got the tail wagging the dog. Sorry, I sound like I'm a real moaner. I'm just being honest with what I feel, and I feel we're going the wrong way about what we do in the workplace today. I think, and let's not kid anyone. All these people that are working from home, this is my view, they will lose their jobs. Already businesses that I know, insurance businesses, are already sending their call center, which they all do, India and all the bits, for, I don't know, a lot less. And why are they going to put up with people demanding, I want to be at home, I want to do these hours, I want this, I want that. And now we have a massive, I think it's nearly 4 million people that are not are permanently signed off sick, and a lot of them are youngsters. I mean, why is it that these people that are signed off sick, they're not bosses, they're not self-employed, they're not like got mortgages, they're not like got children to look after, and they're not got the responsibilities. Why does it not? Well, why does this mental health affect tradesmen and self-employed people and bosses? We don't seem to get the mental health. I just think we're making too much of it. But I am honestly saying that people that generally have got mental health issues and disabilities, they should be given all the help that we possibly can give them, but not just all these 4 million people on long-term sick. I think it's gone up. What's the percentage? I think it's going up 300,000 people a year. That's 75,000 a week. I'm no good at sums, but I've done the interview today. 75,000 people a week are claiming they got mental health issues. I mean, why didn't we have mental health issues 50 years ago when things were a struggle and people was working harder and they've gone through wars and they've gone through having no money, but all of a sudden, I say, for me, the mental health card is the new bad back card. It's the bad brain card.
Yeah. And it is important, and as you're rightly to call it out, where it is genuine, then people need the right support. And you make an excellent point about, I've made this myself, about sort of people around the world. If you can work from home, it means that you'll look at people in India, in China, and in the Philippines who will work from home for a fraction of the price, and therefore you will lose your job.
Andrew, as you know, honestly, so many people can see it, and I would not open a business up and have people working from home. We've got the new business running. We made it very clear we don't work from home. I'm not going to have, private confidential information going to someone's house. It's just not what you're doing. They need to all amalgamate together and work and learn from each other. We've made it very clear to anyone who works for us, that's where you work. And it's 5 days. And if it doesn't suit you, please go somewhere else. I mean, I don't owe them anything and they don't owe me anything. But when they start, from day one, evidently, they've got a contract that's equivalent to being there for 2 years. I mean, it's nonsense.
Yeah, you make some good points. Outside of the work, though, what do you like to do to unwind?
Moan on the TV.
Yeah, you've done that a
Sorry.
few times with me. It's got to be
No,
good.
look, I mean, look, I like to socialise. I like to socialise. I love travelling. I spend a lot of time I live in Spain now, so I spend even more time. I love holidays, Dubai. I like the good things in life, and I'm proud that I can do them because I know that I've gone through business, and you put yourself on the line. You have sleepless nights, you have all the stress, and the financial problems. But I'm okay with that. In other words, I'm glad I've done what I've done, and the people want to knock me, let them knock me. But believe me, I inspire a lot of youngsters into the trade,
And
and
you
even a
also
lot
do.
of business.
You also, and I've had the joy of spending a number of hours with you at some of these great events. Tell us about some of the charitable causes you're passionate about.
Well, my main one is Shooting Star Children's Hospital. Karen Sugarman, who runs that, and Simon Cowell's involved, and Joan Collins, and Tony Adley, and loads and loads of celebrity people are involved. And they did. Imagine the money goes to a children's hospice, and that's just a tragic thing. And I'm a great believer that if you can help charity, then you should help charity. And I'm very proud to say, I've helped many charities, and I will continue to help them. And I don't think we're the real good people. I think the real good people are the hands-on people. But I don't think that would, in other words, then people are angels that do what they do. I mean, it's simple to write out a check if you've got the money, or put money in if you've got it. Yeah, so I've been involved with various charities, but actually the new company we have, WeFix, from every job, there'll be money that goes to the Children's Hospice charity from every job. So we've set that up with them,
Right.
and we have their details on our van. And I think, look, I think that's a correct way of doing it. Not everybody's greedy, and not everybody don't want to help people. Whatever people say to me. I've been a very and still are a very charitable man. Yeah, but and I was at charity. I think, yeah, I don't know, the Variety Club the other day, and yes, of course I bought something. Yes, of course I put some money in. That's what you do if you're successful.
No, absolutely. And you were the legends as well. You gave your good friend James Well yet another award.
Yes, he's. We went along there to Manchester, and the Variety Club Children's Charity was, running the event and giving out Legends Awards. And I was asked to give it to James Wow, who, I believe is a legend and he's been broadcasting for 55 years. So that was a great evening, and many other people got an award, and quite normal people, which is lovely. It's absolutely amazing when somebody does reward somebody. And they gave me a award when I got off a stage. I'm not sure. I think it wasn't a Legends Award, but it's appreciated. It was for helping with the variety.
And
I've
and
done
and
a few things.
James has been a really good friend too. Have you been good friends for some time? How did you meet?
I actually met on an interview. I met up with him through an agent, and we went out for lunch one day, and I just thought me and James ain't going to get on. And then I went on his show, and he's very to the point. And for 20 years I've been on many shows with him, and as you know, he received his MBE. He was actually at the function
I
at
was.
Langhams, and I think we all sort of helped to make that happen for him, like the function. Um, yeah, so like, again, I think he's a great guy,
Yeah,
but again, he's
he's
got
definitely a
lots.
great guy. And you were very generous. You actually picked up the bill for that night.
Yes, I don't know what you want. Yeah, well, look, yeah, but that's okay. I mean, because I mean, look, it was well deserved MBE, and obviously he wanted a lot of his friends there. And as you know, James Well isn't too well, and he has stage 4 cancer, and he's still doing podcasts to help people with cancer. I mean, it's an amazing thing to do, and the MBE was so well deserved. And as you know, many friends, celebrities, and people that worked with him over the years were there. And I can honestly say, I think he thoroughly deserved what he got, the MBE. I was trying to think who gave it to him. It wasn't, who was it? Princess Anne.
Yeah, no, phenomenal, and it was a delight to be there and celebrate
Yes.
that sort of side. And very quickly, then, Charlie, biggest regret?
Sorry, Andrew.
Your biggest regret?
Biggest regret selling my previous company,
Okay, proudest moment?
receiving my OBE from King Charles now, but Prince Charles then.
Very good. And how would you like to be remembered?
Uh, how do I remember? I should be able to work this out. I think how would I like to remember? I think I'd like to remember on the basis that an ordinary person can do well in their life by really pushing for it and driving for it. I don't have brains, but I have enthusiasm, I have drive, and I have a lot of common sense. So, I don't want to say this, if I can do it, other people can do it. But what I would say to people is, it's out there, you've got to make it happen. And, so, I think that, coming from where I come from and where I've wound up, I think that's the ultimate in business. You start with nothing and you sell it up at the end. And I'm very proud of that.
Fantastic. And finally, Charlie, how can people find out about your new company?
It's pretty straightforward. It's WeFix London, based in Lambeth. Look, you'll be seeing the vans in London, and you won't miss the vans, believe me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, look, if people want to use us, lovely, and if the service ain't right, then we'll make sure it is right.
Brilliant. Charlie Mullins, a real joy to have you
Thank
on
you.
the program again. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.